How do you describe the passion of creating? All of us, we just love to take something very common, like a bit of frozen water, you see that? Hard water, and turn it into something beautiful. First thing is we're going to stick the saw in the ice, and as soon as we hit water, we'll know how thick it is. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's pretty close to 10.
That's there, right?
Yeah.
So, standard blocks it is. Last year we harvested about 80 tons of ice, so we were hauling out blocks by hand that were about between 400 and 500 pounds. I just love that blue light coming through the ice.
200 pounds? Yeah. I'm amazed every time how strong I am.
It looks like an Inukshuk's head. I don't think that people necessarily set out to become sculptors in ephemeral media. So that was my girlfriend when I went to art school. In 1972, I ended up coming to Kootenai School of the Arts and spent 3 years there, having a wonderful, wonderful time. It was a golden age for artists. You could go to the art school for $15 a month, including materials. I ended up majoring in sculpture with Mr. Levitt. I just really reveled in being able to do art 8 hours a day. So that's my first welding, and then some also concrete, but that's done with technique where you build it up on armature, which is a lot like sand sculpting now.
So you're a sculptor at heart.
I am. Leslie and I, in 1992, heard about the BC Snow Sculpting Contest. It's held at Silver Star in Vernon. And the attraction was that the winner gets a free trip to the Quebec Carnival. That really caught my interest, and I thought, wow, I've never been to Quebec. I'd love to see the carnival. And I think we can sculpt snow, so let's give it a try. I didn't have a clue that we were going to receive a block that weighed 15 tons and have only 2 days to turn it into something. Oh, my bag of tricks.
Yeah.
Well, there's a simple tool. We actually started collecting old hand saws because you can, with a grinder, you can modify your hand saw to make the teeth more exaggerated and slightly increase the set on the teeth, and this will cut snow really well. People always go, what do you got that for? What you'll get out of here is like super fine snow dust that you can use for patching your snow blocks with. That's like your multi-purpose sanding tool for snow sculpture. This is my simple system. Chunk of plywood, a couple of chunks of plastic. Now you have a two-handed tool for making big flat surfaces. Snow is snow and ice is ice, and they're very different. All across North America, every ice block is exactly the same. 1 meter long by 1/2 meter wide and 1/4 meter thick, which works out to 10 inches by 20 inches by 40 inches. And that weighs about 300 pounds. So we know ahead of time, okay, I'm gonna have to stack 3 blocks to get a life-size figure, and then I'm gonna have to cut a chunk out of here and freeze it on there to make an arm. Snow blocks are made from a big cube of compressed snow that's, for example, 8 by 8 by 8. Sometimes we end up with sculptures that are 15 feet tall and 10 feet wide. It's up to us to decide what are we going to make. When we got to the Olympic snow sculpting contest in Torino, it was +5, and we had planned to do something very delicate, and we realized that it was probably not going to survive. The next day we had to start. We didn't know what we were going to make. Kept throwing ideas. Oh, it's hard to get three guys to all agree this is what we're going to do. And so we were doing these things and crunching up this one, and then Carl pointed at the little rolled up ball of paper. He said, "That's it." And a light went on, and we said, "Yeah." So we carved our crushed ball of paper, and then we carved 3 stylized figures all going, "What am I going to make?" And we won. I started in 1992, so it's coming up close to 20 years. And in 2002, I got introduced to sand sculpture. In an average sand sculpture contest, you're going to shovel 10 tons of sand in less than a day. And not only shovel it, but wet it and compact it, get it lifted up high. I like to go tall. I think the tallest one I've done in solo is 14 feet. I think any person who decides to sculpt in snow, ice, and sand has to be really able to adapt, because there is an uncertainty about it, what we're doing. Sand sculptors experience collapses all the time. We've seen snow and ice collapse. I think the fact that you can see something fall in front of you and then let it go, and 5 minutes later be sculpting again, and just say, okay, now what can I do with this? And it's that sense of being able to overcome these setbacks. And you have to be able to come up with ideas at the drop of a hat, because quite often we'll show up for these contracts and they'll say, okay, Peter, we'd like you to carve the King of Winter. David, we'd like you to do the Snow Queen. And you're supposed to just have all this information in your head. I would say that almost all ephemeral artists get asked this question about, what do you feel when it goes down? And that's not the issue. We just love to create things. Ice glue, we're making ice glue here. So it's water and snow, and then you can throw that in the cracks. And the snow helps to keep the water in place, and then hopefully the cold of the blocks will freeze it all together. So we are planning to make one of these in Nelson. So David, when I described it to him, he goes, "Oh yeah, you're going to put an ice slide on Ward Street. How are you going to stop them?" The fact that we can do something so quickly overcomes the fact that it's not going to last very long. But it's also, in general, we're working for a very big audience. I'm willing to bet that more people have seen my work than many traditional sculptors whose stuff is only in galleries. Johnny Depp was at the Calgary Stampede. He was viewed between 100,000 and 200,000 people. So I got exposure, I got lots of wows, I got that kind of stuff. And that's what we work for. For me, I have to say that I'm fortunate. I'm still passionate about every sculpture I build, and I really keep trying to find new ways to express myself. And I'm quite pleased to say I'm making a living from my art, as are most of my teammates.
Thank you.